70 says here, Canada is not the problem. So first of all, that's saying 100% he's not the problem. That to me is a pretty strong take. It's the players not doing their job. What are your thoughts about that? So it's not Canada at all. That to me is crazy.
I disagree. I disagree 100% on that. I completely agree with what Steve Smith had to say the other day. Back Canada is Saturday night, isn't he? He's a Saturday play caller, trying to call Saturday plays on a Sunday. He's trying to call college ball plays on a Sunday, and he runs a college spread offense. A college spread offense doesn't work in the NFL. His scheme doesn't work in the NFL. You give anybody off weapons that we've got, Pickens, all those guys, you give them to Shanahan, you give them to McVay, you give them to Bieniemy, you give them to Nick Sirianni, you give them to whoever the Dallas Cowboys offensive coordinator is. And I tell you this, they're scoring 25 to 30 points a game. Easy. Kyle Shanahan, if we had Kyle Shanahan as I know he's a head coach now, but let's just say for a minute he wasn't. Let's say he was an offensive coordinator, because he does call all the plays for the 49ers. You put Kyle Shanahan as the offensive coordinator of the Pittsburgh Steelers with those weapons, Pittsburgh Steelers would be one of the top scoring teams in the NFL with Warren, with Harris, with Johnson, with Pickens, with Freiermuth and Pickett. I'm sorry, but Shanahan would have them scoring 25 to 30 points. To say it's the players, that's absolutely. I just totally disagree with that. It's Canada. It's all Canada.
What are your thoughts, Mackenzie, about this statement? It's quite a strong statement, actually. Canada is not the problem. So that to me is saying, well, 100% is not the problem. It's the players not doing their job. What are your thoughts about this one?
I don't agree with that. How can you say that a man who comes from coaching ACC college football, okay, not even SEC, not even Big Ten, not even the prime conference, and not even the prime team in the conference. We all know Clemson runs the ACC. He coached in North Carolina. North Carolina stinks at football. What in the world do you think this man is even qualified to coach an NFL offense after having little to no success in an ACC college football atmosphere? That's one thing I have to say. Another thing is, when you get prime talent out of the draft, you want to use them as much as you can, in the sense that when they're prepared, when they're ready, when they when they feel comfortable on offense, wouldn't you want to see them be targeted, played more? How much did we really see from George Pickens in the first 4 games? Let's be honest. Barely anything. We've seen so much more of him since, first of all, not that Mitchell Trubisky was, not that, it was all Matt Canada, Mitchell Trubisky. We don't know all that. But I'm just saying, we're starting to see him come out a lot more. I don't know where that credit is due, but I just don't agree with a lot of his play calling. How can you say that run, pass offense, the predictability that we had on offense? How can you say that is the player's fault?
Hey, I think we just found and we know how to fire you up. That was brilliant. That was brilliant. And I agree with you. To me, look, I was on the guy. I was stoking the coal. I was driving the bus for the Matt Canada hate train. I just didn't like what was going on. He has definitely gotten better. This offense has gotten better. But to say that Canada is not the problem, it doesn't make too much sense to me. That is clear cut in society saying, well, he's not the problem at all, like at all. But he runs the offense. He's an offensive coordinator. He coordinates the offense. What he does, he sends up plays. He makes up schemes. It's not just like, okay, players go out there and play and catch the ball. No, you scheme guys open. He doesn't do that. He doesn't scheme guys open. He doesn't get guys into the end zone. The points, the stats, all this stuff. It's gotten better after the bye for sure. But I think it's got to do with the players are actually playing some good football now. Kenny's out there too. Kenny from the bye has been playing a lot better. But overall, I think if we had a different offensive coordinator, a guy with some fresh legs in there, we might have a chance to see more points. And I think also Canada's got a bit of ego around him too. So there's got these rumors that, saying that he might be gone after the season and the players don't want him and Mike Tomlin doesn't want him, these kind of stuff. It may be a thing. I'm not too sure. But to finish, Owen, do you want to, like expand more on this? Like if Canada's not, if Canada's not the problem, is he the solution?
God, no way is he the solution. Mm-hmm. He's holding back the offense at the end of the day. Like I said, you've got real prime targets out there. You've got Pickens, you've got Johnson, you've got Freiermuth, you've got Gentry, you've got Warren, you've got Harris. To a lesser extent, you've got Sims, Boykin, etc., etc. Look at, I hate going on about it and like it, but look at the San Francisco 49ers for a minute. Is the San Francisco 49ers offense any better on paper than the Pittsburgh Steelers offense? I would argue not. For Kittle, read Freiermuth. For McCaffrey, read Harris. For Johnson, read Ayuk. For Deebo Samuel, read George Pickens. For Kenny Pickett, read Brock Purdy. What's the difference? What is the one difference between the two offenses? We've got Matt Canada, who is a college coordinator trying to run a college offense in the National Football League. And they've got Kyle Shanahan, who is an offensive genius, who's turned, okay, perhaps Deebo Samuel is a superstar, but other than that, the other players are not any better than what the Steelers have got. Their line is a little bit better than ours, but at the end of the day, their offense is not massively better than ours. Their defense more than compares with ours. There's no reason why the Steelers couldn't be in the same position as the Niners had we had someone like Shanahan coordinating our offense this year.
Is he playing it too safe, Mackenzie? You think Canada's not the problem? It's the players doing their job. Is Matt Canada the whole year has he been playing it too safe? To try and maybe keep his job. And if his job is on the rumored to be on the hot seat, has he been playing safe the whole year?
I would think that, yeah, in the sense that if you're going to be calling the same plays from last season with a different quarterback, and if you think that you can float by this season doing what you did last year when we barely made it to the playoffs last year, yeah, it's one of those things where Matt Canada is probably felt that this season, I don't know, maybe the fact that we had a new quarterback, maybe he felt that, maybe I got a few years to develop him. Who cares if we do bad this year? Maybe that was his mentality. I don't know if he may think that he's playing it safe or if he's trying too hard. Maybe once he got heat throughout the season, he was trying a little harder to get a little bit more creative because the players were vocalizing their frustrations.
I agree with you guys. I think this whole rumor thing is maybe a bit blown out of proportion. Probably, the wrong timing of it all. You do feel a little bit bad for Canada now. He's going to go out there and coach. And I guess if it is true, then he's lost his job, right? In 2 weeks' time, if they don't make the playoffs. It would be funny to see, even put guys like me in my place that I said I didn't like him at all. And then, hopefully go into the playoffs and win some games. It'd be fantastic, though. But it does seem something's very limited. Something's very limited in that area with his, I don't know, the play calling seems very funny. And just overall his ego is just like, you don't really get it, But I don't know. It's I kind of agree what Steve Smith's saying. I don't like the player as a Raven, and he's very outgoing and stuff like that. But it does seem very Saturday-ish and college-ish or high school-ish, and we've seen that throughout the year. But the offense has gotten better, but it's still nothing spectacular, right? Owen, how do we go and beat these Ravens? Now that we talked about pretty much Kenny Pickett and a bit of Matt Canada, how do we go and beat these Ravens, and how does Matt Canada beat these Ravens? Or what scheme do we see?
I think, I think obviously the defense obviously needs to just play particularly. I think the defense plays as much as close as it did to the Ravens game anyway. Obviously, I think just keep the run defense as it is, as it has been over the last two games. And I know what people will say. Well, okay, you played the Panthers, you played the Raiders, but the Panthers have since the Panthers played the Steelers, they've rushed for over 500 yards. in the 2 games they've played. You know, the Raiders are one of the top rushing teams in the NFL and have the best rusher in the NFL. So if we can shut down those teams, I think there's a chance we can shut down the the Ravens running attack on Sunday. And I think part of what didn't help in that game was the fact that I don't think the Steelers had planned for J.K. Dobbins playing. I think they were surprised to seeing Dobbins back, and I don't think they planned for him. So, you know, that I think there's more of a plan this time to stop the run. In terms of the offense, I think the offense have to go out there, establish the run through Najee and Warren early, and take up as much time off the clock as possible. Keep the Ravens, offense off the field for as long as possible, and I think not be afraid to open it up to Pickens and Johnson. I think Kenny is a lot more accurate in his throwing than Trubisky is. So, you know, I think that's what they've got to obviously protect the ball, but still open it up to Johnson, still open it up to Pickens and Freiermuth, because we saw in that 4th quarter on Christmas Eve how effective the offense can be when we target Freiermuth and Pickens.